Hey, what's up? It's me again. How to play Halo Wars 2 with autism, part 2. So, anyways, I made some scripts for leaders that I main. One day I'm going to make scripts for, all leaders one of these days because I don't want to just be good with one leader. I want to be good with all leaders. So, I'm going to pause the video and show you the scripts. So, how to counter units in Halo Wars 2. As banished, at least. I'm not a UNSC main. So for air counter, use anti-air units with plasma banshee units. What I mean by plasma banshees, I'm talking about the plasma upgrade, plasma torpedo upgrade. That's really good against air units. And mixing that with some weavers, it's pretty good. That's like a win-win situation right there. So for infantry counter, use choppers or marauders or wraiths with elite rangers. I would use suicide grunts, but they don't last too long. They really don't last too long unless if you stack them up in your main base and you stack them up a little bit and boom, you release them and they blow up the infantry, yada yada yada. You know what it is. But anyways, for vehicles, use banshees with hunters and wraiths. Now, banshees are good against uh, vehicles in general, and hunters, they're the best at taking care of vehicles such as choppers, marauders, wraiths. They're good against those things. I mean, wraiths are a little harder to counter, just a little bit, because they have heavy armor. They're pretty tanky. They're not called tanks for no reason. They have a lot of like resistance. But yeah, um, this is my how to this is a script for how to counter units in Halo Wars 2 with autism. If you have autism and you need something to stick to, this is what it is. Like, you should just watch this video, right? You should watch this video, take notes, and like the video too if you want. Because it's pretty hard playing Halo Wars 2 with autism because everything is like overwhelming. Everything in Halo Wars 2 is overwhelming and stuff like that. It takes a lot of thinking to do. And even thinking itself is a sensory thing, but you know, that's how it is for people with autism. So let's go on to the next one. Halo Wars 2. What is this called? Halo Wars 2 strategy. Now, this is the strategy that I posted like a couple of, I think like a week ago before that Sir Liam video. This is what it is. For Banish, scout units for anti-infantry at Tech 1. Slowly move forward to Tech 2 and build Marauders as replacement of choppers. And add weavers and locusts in the mix. 3. 3. Replace marauders with wraiths and continue to use weavers and locusts. Unit combo. 1 chopper. Number 1. Choppers and brute jumpers and engineers. 2. Marauders and locusts and weavers and shrouds and engineers. 3. Wraiths and weavers and locusts and shroud and engineers. Update. How to play greedy. Build equal amount of power and supplies with two production buildings. Update again. Well, I should have put update 2. Let me go ahead and put update 2 just to make it more clear for my autism, because I have autism. You guys know this. I need more context with certain things, but besides all that, let's stay on topic. What else, man? What else? Update 2. How to play hero first. Build hero building and queue up hero then build supply pad 3 times on one base. Why? Because you need an army and enough to build generator. Use hero to gain map control and avoid attacking main base unless you're going to destroy enemy income. What I mean by enemy income, I'm talking about taking down the generators, taking out the supply pads, all that. So, explanation. What is map control? Map control is when you have bases and power nodes with an army. The chokeout method in Halo Wars 2. What is the chokeout method? It's when you deny the enemy of bases and supplies and power until they submit. Hero unit combo. Add 3 to 2-4 engineers with 5 choppers and 10 grunts at Tech 1 with hero unit. Reminder, brute jumpers are optional at Tech 1. The reason why they're optional is because, like I said, you don't want to just go for the main base just yet. You want to just target their income and stuff like that. You don't want to take them out just yet. You don't want to go for the throat just yet. But anyways, Tech 2. With hero unit, add 3 to 4 engineers with 2 shrouds and 10 marauders with 5 anti-air to protect vehicles' weaknesses to air. Where is it? There we go. 5 anti-air units to protect vehicle weakness to air. Let's reread that just so you guys understand what I'm talking about, because this is my way of, this is how, this script for my autism is pretty much how I'm seeing it. A high functional person might not understand this, so I'm gonna try to make you guys that are high functional understand what it is. So here it is. With hero unit, add 3 to 4 engineers, right? With 2 shrouds and 10 marauders with 5 anti-air to protect vehicle weakness to air. Now, vehicles are weak against like air units because they're just not, unless you have weavers and stuff like that, they're not going to do a good job at taking down air units. That's my explanation for anybody that has autism. If anybody out there that has autism and you're having a hard time understanding this, or you need pictures, I'll probably do another video, but with pictures this time if you need that. So, here it is. Tech 3. With hero unit, add 4 engineers and 2 shrouds and 5 to 10 wraiths with 5 anti-air vehicles. So, yeah, in Tech 3, you don't want to just use marauders forever. You want to move forward to wraiths, because wraiths are really good at taking out ground units, you know what I'm saying? And they're pretty decent at taking down buildings. Not better than a locust, that is. The locust is the master of taking down buildings. You know what I'm saying? It just melts the buildings real fast. You know what I'm saying? Wraiths, they're good at splash damage. But yeah, if you are already reading the video, like if you're already reading the scripts ahead of what I'm saying, you can skip the video to, each part. I'll even mark down the scripts, like I'll even make a time frame of each script. So yeah, on to the next one. So, what to prioritize? This is a really important one. This is an important one because people with autism, we have priority issues. We don't know what to prioritize. We don't understand what to prioritize. Like, what I mean, we don't know what to prioritize, I really mean it. The only thing we prioritize is what we like, what we're interested in. Like me, for example, I like Halo Wars 2. And because of this autism, I'm glued to Halo Wars 2. I'm addicted. I like the topic of Halo Wars. People with autism, we get easily addicted to certain things. And we like to stay on that topic a lot. And it can be repetitive to outsiders like high functional people. You know what I'm saying? It can be repetitive. but it's what we like. So here it is. Priority 1. Upgrade everything at Tech 1 and capture 1 to 2 bases, sometimes 3 depending on map, and capture as much many bases as you can. Now, why do I say upgrade everything at Tech 1? Well, this is actually, it's not the best strategy, but you're ahead of the game when you do it. So later on, you don't have to like upgrade, you know what I'm saying? Like for example, your main infantry, right? You want to upgrade your barracks to level 1. That's a really, it prevents you from, having to, catch up when you're at Tech 3. Let's say you're playing, you're playing Halo Wars 2, right? With autism, and you're tech rushing. You're not even upgrading none, right? You're just tech rushing to access better units. Sometimes that works. But let's say someone's playing Tech 1. And what does playing Tech 1 mean? Playing Tech 1 means having your choppers out, having your grunts out, upgrading your barracks, upgrading your hero, upgrading your logistics, upgrading your fortification, playing Tech 1 heavy. That's playing Tech 1. And capturing power nodes, by the way. So, yeah. When you're playing Tech 1, you want to have your engineers, you want to have your choppers, your grunts, your hero, and optionally your jump pack brutes if you want to. If you're planning to do the chokeout method. But yeah. What else? Um Priority 2. Capture 3 to 2, or actually no, capture 3 to 4 power nodes. And if possible, capture all power nodes. Priority 3. Eliminate. I think I spelled eliminate wrong, but eliminate player in Halo Wars 2 by destroying all bases. That's the last priority, if anything. But let's go on to the next one. So, how to defend as Banish. Build turrets and 1 shield tower or watchtower to detect cloaked units. 2. Produce anti-air and anti-vehicle and anti-infantry, and 2 to 4 engineers and 2 shrouds for maximum protection. Now, there are better units to use besides rangers, you know what I'm saying? Because they're the anti-infantry, you know what I'm saying? Choppers and, elite rangers, they're like the anti-infantry. But if you want to protect your base heavy, I would say replace elite rangers and choppers with wraiths, because wraiths splash damage is the best against infantry. So if you want an army of wraiths and weavers, that's usually your go-to if you want to defend your base. But other than that, if you're a person with autism and you want to use hunters and elite rangers and what else? Weavers, be my guest, because that's what I do. Even though I could use better units, there's always better choices, depending on your play style. But that's just what I do. Elite Rangers are pretty good at taking out infantry, especially the hero unit. But Wraiths, they do a better job at taking out infantry because of the splash damage. So arguably, I would say use Wraiths to take out infantry if you're planning on defending your base like heavy. Blisterbacks are optional too. They're good against infantry and vehicles and all that. But, I just don't do it, man. I don't really use blisterbacks. I don't use rangers. I just use wraiths and weavers to counter anything. Like, what I mean by anything, I mean anything. You don't even, wraiths cover everything besides air. I mean, and building. Besides air and building, they cover almost about everything. They cover your infantry, they cover your vehicle issues, and they're just good at taking down vehicles and infantry. That's why I use wraiths to defend my base and having a little bit of weavers on the side. But yeah, on to the next one. So, Halo Wars 2 tips. Tip 1. Destroy buildings to make base weaker. Now, if you played Halo Wars 1, there was this thing, if you take down buildings, right, it would make the base weaker. That might be a mechanic, or that might just be a theory. I don't know. But to me, it actually works. You know what I'm saying? It actually works. It's a real thing. But besides all that, you want to take down all the buildings, strip that base of everything, from its income to its production buildings. You want to do this to make the base weaker. And taking down the turrets too. Don't forget the turrets. You want to take down the turrets too. That's also, keeping the base alive. But let's go on to tip 2. Target target army before hero. The reason why you want to target the army first before you target the enemy hero is because, I don't know. It's kind of like this. What happens when there's an army and you take out the hero? The army is still there. The army is still there. So, you know what I mean? Like, the army, you're still like, nothing really changes when you take out the hero. Yeah, you get a little sound effect, you know what I mean? That you did a good job type sound effect, but you know what I'm saying? It's like the army is still there. Let's say they got a bunch of wraiths and weavers. Let's say you're going all air, and that one hero, like the Aatrox Chosen, is just melting down your air. You take him out, but guess what? You got weavers left to back up that hero that fell down, that's been eliminated. So you didn't really take, you didn't really like change the situation by taking the hero out. You're still getting countered. So you want to take out the army first before you take out the hero. And this is when they retreat. When you take out the army, this is when they retreat. The hero itself, any players that are smart, they would retreat. At least that's what I do. I retreat if my hero is alone. I never rush without an army. I never attack without an army. If I'm going hero first, right, and I don't have an army, I'm going to just at least use that hero to get map control until I have an army. So, tip 3. Upgrade barracks for stronger units at Tech 1, then upgrade it to level 2, then Tech 3, upgrade to level 3. Now, I did something smart. I compared Blitz to normal Halo Wars 2. Because if you didn't notice, in Blitz, they tell you the rarity of the unit. How I chalk it all down is like this. The more you upgrade the barracks level, or any like infantry level, army level, vehicle army level, like garage and all that stuff like that, upgrading the garage level, the air pad level, upgrading all of that increases its rarity. Believe it or not, it increases its value, at least the army's value. Like grunts, for an example. If you have level 3 infantry grunts, that's a rare grunt now. That grunt can completely counter an air rush. You can counter a whole air rush with just grunts. You can take down a whole condor with an army of grunts. It's real. I had a vet 2 grunt squad. I had a vet 2 grunt squad in my last game. And this is when I was playing with Decimus. Now, Decimus is really good when it comes to having an army of grunts because of his boundless fury. But on to tip. Actually, no, we already read all the tips. If I find any more tips, right, I'm gonna make another video if I find any more tips. But, anyways, on to the next one. Halo Wars 2 gameplay loop. The loop. Well, I should have put the loop 1 because then I don't really. Reading it doesn't really make any much sense without context. I mean, it does, but yeah, let's just get to the point. Let's get to the point. So the loop: supplies, upgrade, supplies, power, upgrade, power, army, hero unit if included, build base, attack. Now, this is like some kind of like what do I mean? Like this is kind of like a this note is pretty robotic if you think about it. So let me break it down one by one. What I mean by supplies, I'm saying supplies, then upgrade. Have 3 supplies, then upgrade 2 supplies. That's going to double the income. Now, power. Upgrade power as soon as possible. Like, as soon as you get 2 generators and at least like 1 power node, upgrade your generator as fast as possible. Because what I like to do is I like to upgrade my 2 supply pads immediately so I can have an army of grunts later on. This is really important. Yeah, I'm going to have no power left, but that's what power nodes are for. You know what I'm saying? You have 3 generators and 1 power node. That's like a lot of power in itself. So, boom, you have a lot of power. So, what else? I also put down army. What do I mean by just army? I'm saying you want to have your grunts, your choppers, an army of something, like an army of brute jumpers, an army of grunts, an army of anything besides engineers, because they're not going to do nothing but heal you. But you know what I'm saying? You want to have an army of something and include your hero unit if you want to. Now, you can win your games without a hero unit. Hero units are just there to be a damage sponge. That's pretty much what it is. So, yeah, that's pretty much what it is. You it's like what I said before. I only attack when I have an army. You want to only attack when you have an army. So after having your army out, build base. You want to expand. After you have an army, you want to expand, because without an army, you're not going to be able to, you're not going to be able to protect the expo. And what does the expo mean? It means base. It means a base. That's what it is. Well, to give into more detail, it doesn't just mean base. It means your second base, if that makes any sense. If you have autism and you need to know what expo looks like, I will gladly do some research in the next video and show you visually what expo means, because maybe there's something out there that's like, or if I'm playing Halo Wars 2, I'll show you what an expo looks like if you have autism. A high functional person might be like, oh, I know what expo means. You don't have to do this and that. And you know what I'm saying? So, on to the next one. So, infantry strategy. Step 1, upgrade barracks. Step 2, infantry army out. Step 3, anti-units. Step 4, tanks with infantry. And step 5, win or lose. Now, bonus, learn from correction and mistakes. And by writing everything down and taking notes. Let me fix that, because I meant to say taking notes. So let me explain this to you guys, especially the one with autisms like me. What I mean by win or lose, right? It's, you want to have fun playing Halo Wars 2. So you want to win, but you don't want to lose like, you want to play the game to win, but you kind of want to play to lose too. You know what I'm saying? And what I mean by play to lose, I'm saying play to lose so you can have fun. Like, when you jump in a game, you want to have the mindset of, I don't care if I win or lose. I'm having fun. That's the goal. So, step 3, right? You want to know what step 3 really means? Step 3 means having anti-everything in weavers, like weavers, elite rangers, hunters, anti-everything. But like I said before, if you want to better your game, replace the elite rangers with wraiths and replace the hunters with banshees, but keep the weaver, because the weaver is the best. It's the best counter unit for air. That's a complete army right there. So on to the next one. So this is for people with autism. If you have autism and you're trying to understand how you lose a game or how you win the game, you want to take a note and write all this down. Reason for loss 1, triple teamed. Explanation, 3v3 is a team-based game mode, and it requires you to team up to win. If done alone, you lose. That's how it works. Reason for win, upgraded barracks, health and damage boost for infantry. Now, not every game you're going to need to take notes down, unless if you're trying to understand how you lost. I would take note on how you lost. You know what I'm saying? Even if it doesn't even make any sense. Like, if you get rushed by a player, if you get rushed at Tech 1 and the guy has mantises already, you want to write down he fast teched. And then you look back and you're like, okay, he fast teched. That makes a lot of sense now. But how did he fast tech? You want to write down what makes sense. As a person with autism, if you want to know how something works, write it down to your best imagination. So for an example, he could have had 3 generators, or scout him and be like, this is what he's doing. Not just scout him, but make sure his teammate is not sending power too, because that happens too in 3v3s. But let's move on to the next one. Okay, rushing in Halo Wars 2, right? How to rush. Barracks first, then pump out 5 to 4 brute jumpers. Simple. Now, that's literally all you got to do. What happens after you pump out those brutes? Go for the income. Go straight for the income. Don't go for the throat. Go for the income. You want to target their supply pads, their generators, and just strip them down of everything until they submit. That's the choke out method. But usually after you build your barracks, put a supply pad down. 1 to 2 supply pads are really good. Don't upgrade nothing. Use whatever power you have left to pump out more brutes. Capture power nodes and have at least a couple of grunt squads to help you with those air units, if they fast tech. Let's go on to the next one. So, how to logistics first. Generator first and hero building second. Supply pad third. Now, this is actually a failed strategy. It did not work, so I wrote it down. Just in case if you guys with autism decide, hey, what if I logistics first instead of hero first? What if I just do this first and, neglect power and supply? The consequences is you lose the game. You lose the game. So here it is. Failed test. Instead of building generator first and upgrade generator, and then, okay, hold on. Let me start over because I sound pretty robotic right now. Failed test. Instead, build generator first and upgrade generator, and then build multiple bases / mini bases, then upgrade logistics. That's how you want to do logistics first. Because there you at least have an army, you have your turrets up, and you have enough time to go logistics first. That's how you do it. On to the next one. Now we're at the big, we're almost done with this video. Where this is the part where, this is like a leader guide a little bit. This is like a leader guides for people with autism. Okay. So this is the part of the video where I show you guys, verbally that this is how I play, my favorite leader or any leader for that matter. So colony, living barrier, rare. Goliath, common. Symbiote, uncommon. Engineer swarm, uncommon. Skitter, common. Now, what does all of this mean? It means you want to prioritize living barrier. You know what I'm saying? You want to prioritize living barrier. It's really good. It's a really good distraction when you're capturing power nodes. They can't capture the power nodes if the living barrier is right there. I was playing this one game. I was trying to capture a power node with this living barrier in the way, but my grunts kept shooting the living barrier instead of capturing the power node. It's really useful. So I would prioritize living barrier over everything else. You can go skitters first and stuff like that, and all that, but personally with me, I go living barrier first. Living barrier first, then second leader point, living barrier again. Upgrade it. Boom. Now I'm gonna just say this one thing. Blitz and regular Halo Wars 2 is separate from the actual game itself. I just use rarity as a way of understanding the unit. That's just me. You know what I'm saying? If you have autism, this might help you in a sense. This helps you in some kind of way. I'm gonna probably make another video in detail of what it means to see things with rarity with autism, because for me this is working. If you have infantry and your infantry level is level 3, those infantry units are literally basically rare. They're rare. They're special units. They turn into special units. They do a lot of damage. They have a lot of health. That's good. That's actually a good way of looking at it. Unupgraded infantry is common. It's basic. But level 3 infantry, rare. Definitely rare. I wouldn't say legendary. I would say rare. But let's go on to the next one. Okay, so now for Decimus, This one's a big one because almost everything is common unless you upgrade the building's level, like vehicle 1, vehicle 2, vehicle 3. You know what I'm saying? Level 3 is where level 3 is when your units become special. They become rare now. They don't just do damage. They do more damage. And they have more health, which turns them into rare units. So, I made a note below and I explained this thoroughly. Okay? Note 1. Rare units from Blitz are not known to be normal multiplayer, to be in normal multiplayer, but if more than one passive that affects units, they become rare units. This is true. If you're playing Decimus and you pick Bottomless Fury with Siphon, right? That passive Siphon ability, right? That passive Siphon, those units become super units at that point. They don't just become rare units. They become tier 5 units. Oh no, they become like not tier 5 units because the max level is 3, but they become special units. I'm gonna just say it like that. They become special units. They do more than your average level 3 unit or just any level of unit at all. Like if you did a test video of a level 1 grunt or level 0 grunt versus a Bottomless Fury with Siphon grunt, who's going to win? The grunt with no leader passive or the grunt with a Decimus passive? Who's going to win? I say the Decimus grunt is going to win. Just saying. It's going to win. The Decimus grunt is going to win. Now, note 2. Upgrades change rarity as well. One upgrade turns into... Sorry about that. I'm back. My mom was just telling me that I got to get ready for work and all sorts of stuff. It's 4 o'clock right now. I don't get ready until like 5. But like I was saying, what else? Where did we left off? Note 2. Upgrades change rarity as well. One upgrade turns the unit into an uncommon unit, and the other turns the unit into a I meant to put a rare unit. Hold up. There we go. Into a rare unit. For example, 1 upgrade equals uncommon. 2 upgrade equals rare. Hold up. I think I have an error. I made an error, you guys. Hold up. I meant to put level 1. 1 upgrade equals common. 2 upgrade equals uncommon. Rare. 3 upgrade. Hold up, give me a second. Upgrade equals. Hold up. 1 upgrade equals common. 2 upgrade equals uncommon. 3 upgrade equals rare. There you have it. Info 1. Grunt Mob is pretty much Pack Brother. That's pretty much what it is. That's how I see it. You know, your squad increases when you have Pack Brother. It increases the number of units in that squad. So Grunt Mob is pretty much Pack Brother with a lot of grunts. That's pretty much what it is. Like, if you want to mimic grunt mob with autism, right? You want to mimic that card, grunt mob. You want to at least have like 5 grunts with Pack Brother. That's literally what it is. So let's see what else. So I also say that Pack Brother, which hold on. Pack Brother means pack. No, hold on. Give me a second. Because sometimes I have a typo. I'm making sure I'm reading it right. Grunt Mob is pretty much Pack Brother, which means Pack Brother turns grunts into rare units. This is somewhat true. I mean, this is kind of true. It's kind of like this. All right. It's kind of like this. If you didn't upgrade your infantry army, like level 1 infantry and level 2 infantry, level 3 infantry, it's just infantry level 0, but you have a level like, but you have like a level 2 upgrade grunt squad. I mean, Pack Brother or whatever like that. I mean, it's it works, but it somewhat doesn't count. I might have to scrap that because they're still common units when they're unupgraded. So let me go ahead and scrap that. Let me scrap that for a second. Let me scrap that. Give me a second. I'm about to scrap this junk right now. Grunt Mob is pretty much Pack Brother. I had to scrap that because I realized that infantry level 0 units, their rarity don't change even though you have Pack Brother. Their effectiveness doesn't change unless if you have something like Plasma Torpedo, which increases health and damage, but that's a rare upgrade. That's a rare upgrade to have on your Banshees because it increases your health and damage. But anyways, level of infantry vehicle air increases rarity of units. I already talked about this, but yeah. Let's see what else I got. This is my last one too. All right. So Atriox. Scorch Moon. Is that what it comes? I meant to put mines, not what. I don't know what happened. Let me fix that. Scorch Mines / Plasma Mines. Uncommon Bulwark. Rare. Hold on. Let me go back to Scorch Mortars because, not Scorch Mortars, Scorch Mines. So, level 2, like level 1 Scorch, like Plasma Mines is pretty much Scorch Mines. They do the same thing. They literally do the same thing. Damage over time when the enemy steps onto the mine. They do the same thing. So, uncommon is pretty much tier 1 mines. That's your uncommon. But I also like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I also like made it, like, I also mentioned that level 1, like, hold on, give me a second. I'm having an autism moment right now because I also, you know, one thing when you have autism and you contradict yourself, right? You pretty much freeze up. How to unfreeze yourself? You have to take a step back and look at the notes where you said this and that. That's how you unfreeze yourself. Just saying for those who have autism. But I mentioned that level 1 grunts is common. But let's separate units. Let's separate units with leader powers, okay? Because they're two different things. All right, level 0 mines, right? Pretty much do absolutely nothing and you can't use it. But level 1 mines, right? When you unlock them and stuff like that, it turns uncommon because it's a leader ability. Like it's the reason why it's uncommon because it's a leader ability. It's not even just a leader ability, but it does a lot of damage, right? That's why it's uncommon. And it has a special ability where it does damage over time. It's not just a mine, it's a mine that does damage over time, which makes it uncommon. Extra abilities make certain things uncommon to rare. So that's how I'm looking at it. If you have autism and you want to look at it that way, feel free to look at it that way. It makes life easier. Like, this is how you play Halo Wars, man. This is how you understand Halo Wars. But let's move on to the next one. Bulwark. It's a rare ability. It's pretty much a rare ability. It's not rare until it's like level 3 Bulwark. Like I said, Blitz and normal Halo Wars 2 is totally different. But Blitz is a good example of how you should look at, levels. All right. Aatrox is chosen. Aatrox is chosen. Legendary. Aatrox is chosen. Legendary. This is your main character. This is your main unit you want to use at all times. But like I said, it's optional. You don't have to use your hero unit all the time. You can just win by using grunts with brute jumpers and some engineers in the mix. Like, you can win the game without hero units. It's possible. I've done it many times. It's possible. But yeah. Note 1. Leader powers can turn rare. Level 1 can turn rare. I forgot to put a period. Leader powers can turn rare. Level 1, common. Level 2, uncommon. Level 3, rare. So with plasma mines, I would say they cap out at uncommon. But they're rare in some cases where there's rare cases where they do more than just they do more than what they're worth. So if you have autism and you want to view plasma mine as rare, I would say, yeah, you can do that because, this is your autism. This is how you look at things. Everybody's autism is different. You know what I'm saying? My autism tells me to look at it as common, uncommon, rare, depending on the level of that said leader ability. But anyways, that's all I got to say in the video. Peace out, you guys. And, if you like the video, give me a thumbs up, share this video. This is for people with autism, okay? Strictly. This video is strictly for people with autism. If you're a Halo Wars 2 player and you have autism, this is the video for you. And if you learn anything from this video as a high functional person, that's good for you. But a part of me tells me you already understand how to play Halo Wars 2. You're high functional. Not everybody's smart, but But that's all I gotta say. Peace out. And shout out to Cars. Thanks, Cars, for supporting me at least. Thank you for being that guy. To understand my autism. It seems like you understand my autism, and I really appreciate that. Thank you, Cars. I appreciate it. But anyways, you guys, see you guys later. Peace.